Major spoilers for The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom to follow. What does it mean for your heart to shatter, to feel longing so powerful and melancholic that you'll bask in that feeling for the sheer pathos and expression of it all? To gaze out at a sunset with the cliché single tear rolling down your cheek? Well, I think something of that nature is what Link must feel when gazing up at the Dragon of Light. That blazing trail like a brilliant, shining, and divine comet in the noonday sky. The backdrop, the floating islands in the heavens, brings nothing back but the thoughts of his mission. And so he must continue on. I'm not the first person to point this out, but if in the game you get all the dragon's tears, learn through Zelda's memories that she sacrificed not her life, but her humanity to make sure the Master Sword could stand up to Ganondorf, Link doesn't tell anyone but Impa, him confiding in the only person that truly knows his trials and tribulations. Link doesn't inform his other companions, the new sages that fight alongside him, and I have an idea why. In the game that precedes it, Breath of the Wild, we learn through Zelda's diary entries that Link hides his feelings and nervousness, and remains stoic because he believes he must. He wields the sword that seals the darkness, a duty that, despite coming from a family of knights in this iteration of him, is a burden that was thrust upon such a small frame. Link doesn't tell his companions what happened to their princess because he wants to save them the crushing weight of knowing that their princess is gone. Because while he can fight on, the others may need that sliver of hope to keep going. And even more so to that melancholic feeling is the fact that you can interact with the Light Dragon. In fact, it's the only sacred dragon that you can move around freely without worrying of active harm. To ride the Light Dragon is peaceful, but it is also heartbreaking. Link has sacrificed so much, going through all he did in the first game only to lose his arm, his sword, and his princess within the first 10 minutes of the game. And when he finds her again, there isn't a princess to save. I remember the first time I learned this. I genuinely cried. This feeling of my princess being gone. And then realizing that I should have seen it all along. See, if you go to the Great Deku Tree and cure it before unlocking all the memories, it will still give you the quest marker for the sword, and you can go to it before you learn of Zelda's fate. I did, and you can see the difference in the dragon when compared to the Divine Three from the first game of Naedra, Dinral, and Farash. With different horns, ears, eyes, and mouths, they look more like Rauru and Mineru of the Zonai than they do the Dragon of Light, which was probably intentional. She is an unfeeling, sometimes unblinking divine beast that does not show any recognition to Link at all. So you sit, you ponder, you gaze at the sky from atop her head. You feel as you did almost the entirety of the first game. You feel alone, which is powerful, because in Tears of the Kingdom, Hyrule is rebuilding. Its people bouncing back from the 100-year apocalypse of Calamity Ganon, and there is no longer an empty feeling to the overworld. Hyrule Field, the most dangerous area besides the castle in the previous game, is a thriving hub that Link finds himself returning to time and time again. Gathering allies and friends to Lookout Landing to increase their odds in taking on the darkness surrounding the castle. Patrols of Hylians, fighting monsters and protecting their homes, often inspired by your actions, can be encountered, and you help them, and they love you for it, cheering your name with each success. So riding atop the Light Dragon's head, so close to the person you care for and desperate to save, the true impetus for the game, you are alone, profoundly so. Even retrieving the Master Sword is painful because it's the only time the Light Dragon responds to you. You can knock off her scales, you can break off her claws, and she might blink, but it's not a reaction to Link specifically. Just a stimulus. No. Retrieving the Master Sword, it hurts her. She writhes and coils in pain, so much so that the previous game's task that was testing your hearts is now one that tests your stamina as she screams in agony, crying out and flying into the sacred realm. And it only hurts more knowing that she's doing this for you. She's protecting and safeguarding the sword for Link. Only she can't recognize that it's him trying to retrieve the sword. She's lost the ability to. Flying in the sacred realm, you have the sword. Now what? You feel Zelda's last thoughts poured into the blade, and then you're left where you sent it into the past at the beginning. Zelda flying off into the sky, leaving you behind. You can find her again. Ride her crown, feel the pathos. But there's no real reason to, other than that the cruel irony that the new champion leathers that Zelda made for you prior to the events of the game can be upgraded using her flesh. So you ride along the ground, you fly through the sky, and there she will be, your princess, gone. But not entirely. You should really finish the game if you haven't, because oh my gods, it gets good. Spoiler notice for the final battle. There's this whole sky battle and your dragon girlfriend comes to save you, and it's emotional and it's impactful because you gave up hope and then you and her team up to fight the Ganon dragon, and it is amazing. Go have fun. And yes, Zelda, your twink will still love you, even if you were Worm. Hi everyone, this was a bit of a different subject matter and the first fan art that you're seeing on this channel, but it will not be the last one. So thanks for joining me, and I appreciate the time you've taken to watch this. If you would like to join others, like Beck 3D, Outlander, and S. Nepley over on my Patreon, you can get these videos early and ad-free, as well as read my entire collection of comics, which is kind of the most reason I'm doing this. I'm hoping you'll at least go check those out. So thank you very much for your time and your support, and I'll see you in the next one.